to give you like a feeling of the effect that they stand out from each other. It's a bit quiet here. Gotta put it up a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit bad performance here, but hopefully you get the idea. They are not blending together too badly. So now we have the melody here, same as before. We have the bass, we have the little rhythmical harmonic pattern, and we have a counter melody. So because I create separation, I can combine those two. So right now it sounds like this. So I've just been adding in a horn because it has a contrasting tone color, and horn is something I often like to use in my counter melodies, which is something I've been doing in the track I created in this course as well. So that aside, I hope this was not too big jump, too many things happening at once, but if that's the case, we will soon get to something that makes a bit more sense, I hope. Anyways, the next thing I've been doing is to take it to a new level. So same thing, I've been taking the string pattern that outlines the harmony. So all the harmony we need is right here. And this is like an important thing because in all of these orchestrations, we're only using the content from these things, which is 3 things. It's the harmony, it's the counter melody, and it's the melody. And then also the rhythm. So it's basically 4 different layers, but in terms of what's in the composition, we're only 3 to 4 layers at once. So at all times, whenever I'm adding something new, I'm always expanding on the existing 3 or 4 layers. So if I want this to expand, I would add more instruments to the melody. I would not create something new. I would not create any new movement or new elements here. It would be I would only reinforce the melody. If I wanted anything more in other parts, if you add something to one thing, you would usually have to balance it out by adding more instruments to another section as well. But here we have the harmony. It's taken care of. Now we also have the counter melody here. I've also been adding more, adding some tubas and trombones through the bass, and I've been adding some quick little sticks here that are playing the rhythm in the strings. So here again we have the rhythmical element of my track and just some low booms just to accentuate the beginning of the beats. And here as well, it's just like this. Some small things that are also accentuating the rhythm. So everything is expanding on the elements that's already here. These things, it's the bass notes. So also just expanding on the existing harmony. No new voices at all. It's just a duplication, like a duplicate of what's already here. This is again like the this is the melody. I've given the melody to the horn now. So in this example, there's no counter melody. We only have the melody, the harmony, and the rhythm. So 3 layers. And everything else that I've been adding here it is assigned to like one of those 3 elements. So let me just look at everything we have here. We have the violins. They're playing the melody in octaves over the horn. And also the cello at this point is doubling the horn melody, because cello and horns, they blend really well together. So we have octaves of the violins above the cello together with the horn. That's a melodic element here. Then we have the bass together with the staccato strings, which is like supposed to be violas, outlining the harmony with a light rhythmical drive to it. Then again, horn doing the melody, So here we have all the melody and the harmony, a little bit of rhythm here. Next, more harmony, just the bass notes. And then we have some more rhythm. And that's it. So all of this is just the exact same 3 layers, just with a little bit of more expanded orchestration. Let's listen to what it sounds like. And this is a bit like a mixing problem as well. I'm just gonna duplicate this to make it a bit louder so we can hear the melody better. So you get the idea. So the main principle here is that don't add just random stuff. This is something I'm talking about all the time. Always have like a clear picture of what you're adding. So just add something to the existing 3 layers, and this is where it's really helpful to have a piano sketch with all the voices. So if you want to do a harmony thing, sorry, this is the wrong sketch. If you want to do a harmony thing, take these voices and voice it out. If you want a counter melody thing, take the bass notes, the counter melody, and the melody. And that's it. Stick to that and just expand upon that. And then of course you can use rhythm as well. Now in the next example here, I've been doing pretty much the same thing, just a bit different. Now there's no rhythmical element, I'm taking out that, but I've been introducing the counter melody. So basically this is just a few different ways of orchestrating the same theme. So now what we have is the melody, the counter melody, and the harmony, no rhythm at all. So the violins are playing in octaves together with the violas. These are all playing the melody, so it's like a big string melody. And bear in mind, this is just roughly recorded, so it doesn't sound really good, but it makes my point. Like, I hope you get my point when I show you this. And then you have the cellos, and they're playing the counter melody together with the horn. So far, 2 layers. Melody, counter melody. That's it. Then we have the basses, just playing the bass notes. That's it. And then we go down to the trombones and the tubas. They're just playing this in octaves. So if we open oh yeah, also there's some flutes doubling the violins. So if you open this now, you can see that it's not that much going on. It's the melody here in octaves, you have the counter melody here, and you have the bass notes. And that's it. That's the entire thing. So let's listen to it, what it sounds like. So you see, everything is just a part of one of the 3 layers. The harmony, or like the bass notes, the counter melody, and the melody. So everything I've been assigning has been, everything has been assigned to one of those roles, you can say. If I go back to this example, which sounds like this, I can open up this as well, the folder with everything. And this is a little bit more messy. Actually, I'm gonna take out the percussion parts here. So we can see only the strings and brass, so it's a little bit more clean. Yeah, so here we have the melody, we have the bass harmony here, and then we have the strings together with the horns that I showed you before. They're overlapping in range, but it's different tone color, rhythm, and articulation, so it works out. Then if you go to the previous example again, which is just strings and horn, where we have the violins playing the melody, we have the chords outlined by the staccato strings, and then a little counter melody by the horn. Pretty much the same thing. We have the bass, we have the melody, and it seems like the counter melody did not get in there, and we have the counter melody. So it's pretty much the same thing as we saw before. And if we go to the first one, you see this is pretty much exactly the same as the piano sketch, because I've literally just taken this and voiced it out for those instruments. So make a piano sketch and try to just voice this out for example, strings first, and then you can try to move it around to different things later. And a rule of thumb when orchestrating and making things bigger is that whenever you add something to one part, you need to balance it out with other things in the other sections. So if you're expanding your melody, for example, you need to reinforce the harmony, for example, or the counter melody, depending on which layers you have there. So, and if you're wondering like which instruments to combine, you can look in the orchestration chapter when I go through the entire orchestra, where I give a lot of hints or tips to which instruments are blending well together. Or you can just listen to a lot of orchestral music and just get a feel for what works together. For example, I like to combine cello and horns for counter melodies because they really give a nice effect together. So now we've been going through all these things, and as you can see, even in these examples, which is like bigger orchestral statements, even though it sounds a little bit not the best because it's just really, really rough. You can see that it's pretty simple. It's just harmony, counter melody, and melody. So let's just go through the steps that I took here in all of these examples. I made first, took the melody here with nothing else, went over, did like a basic chord progression, which we did in the harmony chapter, and then I just voiced them a bit better, made them a bit more natural in the way they moved. I took this, made it into the strings, and this is like the entire string thing I did, voice by voice. And then I also had the counter melody, which is a part like we create in the additional elements chapter of this course. And I showed you how I made a piano sketch from that as well. So we have two different versions. And this is the bass harmonies, counter melody, and the melody. And then we also have a little rhythmical element, which is just repeating triplets, which goes like this. So that's all I did. I just took those elements and I gave them to different voices. And I always try to balance them out. So first one is only strings. Then I took one which is a little bit bigger, where I took the rhythmical elements and gave them to like a rhythmical pattern in staccato strings with like the horns. The counter melody, because we had been creating some separation here. So separation is super important whenever you're introducing new layers, and something I'm rambling about in the course all the time. And then I expanded a bit more, added in the rhythmical layer in the percussion here, which is just joining the existing rhythmical pattern here. And also reinforce like the bass notes a little bit, and it's a little bit more powerful counter melody dynamic wise by the horn here. That compensates for all the other things that are growing. Next, the final one is the strings in octaves, so even bigger melody. It goes across 2 octaves, like these are playing in unison, and then you have the violas in the octave below, and then you have the cellos and the horns in the counter melody. So I've been expanding on this layer as well. So you have the horns plus the cellos here. So, and then to make sure that the harmony is strong enough, I've been using both the basses and the low brass to compensate for it. And that's it. So I hope this has been making sense for you. I've been at least trying to make like a practical way for you to experiment with orchestration without having to write anything out on paper, without really needing to know too much music theory. I've been trying to simplify it as much as possible. And if this seems hard right away, just try it out. You'll learn as you go, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes. But I hope this makes sense. And again, as always, just drop me an email at arn@evident.com if you have any questions regarding this topic, if something is unclear. And as always, just upload your result from trying to do these exercises, for example, or any other exercises in the orchestration chapter. Just upload them to the discussion and feedback part of this chapter, and I'm looking forward to see it. So that's it for this video. I hope this has been helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys in another video.